What's happening? We are live, and I think it's the first three-timer ever for World Wrestling Live. I know BB's been on a few times. Um, I'm not sure. I think you might be the first three-timer, at worst second. So we got Coach Anthony Cerullo right here, one of Polk County's finest. He's the head coach over at Tenorock with two O's High School, and he's back on because he's got a great announcement. I'm sure you've seen him on social media releasing the information. He and his partner have opened up Polk County Wrestling Club, and it's called the Hammermill. So, hey, it's good to see you again, Coach. Man, what's happening?
Wonderful to be on, man. Just trying to make it happen out here. Sell some Redline energy drinks and get to talk to you for a little bit.
Nice. Now, do you go in to sell the red line, or do you have the little girl that we don't see next to you that you send in?
I do not let her go in too often. Then they don't want to buy anything from me. So I go in, I see what they need. Like outside of a Walmart right now. We just went day one today, getting released into Walmarts with our new product, Redline New Fusion, and I go create space, get displays, stock the coolers, collect the money, all that good stuff. So
Man, that's
a
awesome.
one-stop shop.
So we need to start drinking red line instead of the other stuff. Well, you have Bang on your shirt, right?
We have Bang, yeah, because we haven't switched over to our uniforms yet because Pepsi's taking care of Bang for us. But we went over. We got New Fusion and Redline New Fusion, which I'll be honest with you, not just because I'm the sales rep, the Redline New Fusion tastes way better than the Bang.
Yeah, and I made sure that your picture had you drinking a red line when I posted it.
I saw that. I think the owner of our company might give me a raise now, so I'm gonna have to buy a couple more shirts from you.
Yeah, tell them to sponsor my show. Redline. I'll bring Redline to the events. I don't know if they want a bunch of wrestlers on Redline, but
I'll tell you what, man. Whenever I first started with the company about 3 years ago, I never realized it before because hold on, I got people calling me on my work phone. So I went into events and I saw people drinking Bang. You know what I mean? Like when I first started with the company, and I was like, hey, I work for them. And I started bringing some with me. I mean, I think the first time I saw Bricker and Campbell at a tournament. They were drinking the crap out of it. And I was like, what's your favorite flavor? I was super stoked about it. The funny thing, after 3 years, I'm still super stoked to know what people's favorite flavors are. So,
and it's pretty cool because you know how, like the small things, like when I was a sales manager in the car business, if I showed up with, like coffees for everybody or a box of donuts or a little whatever, that made their day. And so, yeah, you show up at a wrestling tournament and you remember that Breaker's favorite flavor is melon fusion or whatever the hell it's called.
I think it's cherry blade lemonade, honestly.
Cherry blade. And you walk up and you're like, yo, brother, I brought you a couple of these. And just that little, it didn't cost you anything to do that. And just that little thing is like, all right, well, I'll make sure Tampa doesn't beat you too bad today, Coach.
It ain't gonna happen. The Bronx Bombers are full swing, buddy.
The Bombers are in full swing. That's full awesome. Swing.
Yeah, we faced Shane Bieber, who's supposed to be the Cy Young Award winner, and we just rocked him. He's out in Cleveland crying right now.
Nice. Hey, so what? First of all, crazy summer, right? I know we've talked a couple times, and I know we talked early into the COVID, and then we talked kind of midway through the COVID, and now I don't think we're out of the COVID per se.
No, not yet.
But I think the world is making adjustments. Wrestling events are starting to happen and happen well. Whoever's putting them on seems to be doing the right things. This weekend, the boys at Osceola with Bird and Price and Shayla Lynn, I think I said her name right. But they did a great job, man. They were checking up everybody. They were making sure masks were on if they weren't on the mats. They were walking around, just doing their thing. And, even talking to those guys, and girls, they're like, look, we don't want to wear masks. We don't like having masks on. I mean, it's not what we want to do, but we want wrestling. And whether we're anti-mask, pro-mask, anti-COVID, anti-government, the sky is blue, we still we're pro-wrestling. And and in order for us to be able to do these events, this is the way we have to do it. And the kids should have wrestling. So I respect that. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to going up to the grappler and seeing how Tony does it. But what have you guys been up to, man? Obviously, wrestling was kind of on pause. So that's probably why you went and you're opening up this club, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we not only do we see a need for it in our area, but with everything shutting down and people making decisions for us without our input. I mean, we're very fortunate inside our county to have a coach like Danny Walker who will go to bat for us, especially with his cachet and his name and his success. But I mean, still, things are shut down for us to be in our rooms and be active in our rooms until November 9th. And so really we needed to find a way to get on the mat. I mean, we had a good season last year and we were trying to figure a way to do it. And we had a bunch of other, Polk County as a whole, I think, had 42 state qualifiers, which is the most I can think of in my time in the sport of wrestling. So, I mean, there's a need to get a place where we can be on the mat and get better.
And that's awesome, man. And you know, I think we're seeing that a lot. And I'm typing in here grand opening so that we can share this to the other groups while we're on, and let everyone know that you come down to Florida, or if you're in Florida, we've got another club that's available to you.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, you know, that's the one thing I've seen talking, you know, obviously you were one of my first guests on, so we've talked, we've become friends.
Yes, sir.
And we've had long discussions, and everybody around the country that is being, I don't know, deterred from having sports happen, right? And it's something that is out of their control because they're not the AD, they're not the governor, they're not the mayor, they're not the head of the high school association and whatever their county is. But it's been great to see. I don't know if Walker found a place yet, but I know he was looking for a place. You found a place, Prince and Tampa Bay, and they found a place, and you're starting to hear a lot of these. So the positives is we wanted more wrestling clubs, right? Because wrestling clubs creates more wrestling opportunity, and you don't
absolutely,
and you're not handcuffed from what the high school says you can or can't do. For the most part, you've got to still listen because you're involved, but for the most part, you can kind of do some things, right? So the positive through this COVID is we're starting to see these clubs open up, like yourself, and you know that's going to mean a lot for the sport, I think, especially here in Florida.
Well, I think that the sport of wrestling's grown so much in, let's say, the last 10 years. We've been working towards that, you know, more so of growing since I was in high school wrestling. I mean, you look at it this way, we have 3 now NAIA programs inside the state that for college that you can go to, how many countless club programs, which maybe there was only a handful, 2 or 3 when I graduated high school, for just even club programs. That, I mean, you look at UCF, they can be NAIA, probably Division III teams. So you have some really strong programs to the next level. And then you have teams that have led the way. You know, you've got Brandon for the last 45 years. You have Lake Gibson for the last, I think Danny Walker said in his 18th year. You've got Duck and Balmancita is doing down south at South Dade, LHP for the last 10 years. So you have a lot of the Fleming Island. Clay's been around forever. So what these teams have done to lift up the sport of wrestling is raise the bar. So you have to go out there and you've got to recruit, get kids off the football field that have never thought about wrestling, and explain to them that it helps them, and get them into your room and then eventually into your club and get them to love the sport. I mean, I have right now on my high school team, I have 8 kids that are playing football, and a lot of them had to make play football. They're like, no, we just want to focus on wrestling. No, dude, you need to go play football because I don't feel like getting yelled at by the AD. So
now, at some point, weren't you involved with that sport too?
I was for the last 2 years, and it was a great experience working with Coach Patrick Smith and Irvin Strickland over there, and I learned a lot about coaching. But opening up the wrestling club and, you know, work and kids and stuff like that, my wife told me I had to choose. So it was fairly easy decision between wrestling and football for me, but I had a good time. It was a lot of fun. I learned about how good I was at Madden by calling plays. So
yeah, you remembered X, Y, O, 3, out route, Z, cover.
Well, I learned it was a lot harder to call a 26 counter and had to go as far as I would in Madden than I did on calling it on JV football. So I didn't score a touchdown every time with it like I do when I'm playing on my Xbox.
That's awesome, man. So who's your partner? I know you got a buddy involved in this.
Yeah, so Justin Weaver, he came on as an assistant coach with me last year. I met him a couple of years ago. He helped out on a Disney team that I was part of, the team Skeletor, and he actually went to was it Florida Pride Camp and got to meet Jo. And pretty cool story. Like he's a guy that's ate up with the sport of wrestling. He loves the sport of wrestling, probably more so than I do. Spoke with Jo and got to sit down with him because he was helping out at the camp. And Jo says, "Man, you gotta grasp your dream. If that's your dream, you gotta do it." So he called me up, and because we had been talking about it, and he goes, "We're gonna do this. Whatever I gotta do, whatever you gotta do, we have to do this." And I said, "All right, buddy, let's go see what we can do." And so we finally found a place. I went on my lunch break, looked at an old bank, and it would have been pretty cool to do, but it wasn't going to work. But the guy goes like, "I have a warehouse that literally fell." That the guy just told me he's moving out today. And I was like, "Awesome, let me know where it's at." And I, next day went and looked at it, and I was like, "This is going to work. This is going to work." And so about a week later, we signed the papers, and now we're in there. We're painting, and had a couple of events that had an event in there already. We got another one this weekend. We actually have one on Friday. We'll talk about the schedule a little bit more later, but just getting it, making it look as pretty as possible, and where people are happy to be in there. So,
Man, that's great. The Hammermill, right? Is that what we're going to call it?
Yeah, the Hammermill. I mean, they call the best wrestlers around. They call them hammers. So we want to be a place where people become hammers, where boys and girls come in of all ages and become hammers. Man, we're actually open all ages. If you're 99 years old and you want to come scrap on a Monday night and get back in the shape of it, then bring yourself in, and we'll get you to work.
Nice. Now that's the young man that I met at D1, right?
Yes, he was at D1. Yes, sir. He was. We had a couple of kids. One of them wrestled for Coach Goog.
Yeah, real nice guy. He showed me pictures of the place, and we BS'd a little bit, and it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I mean, if he ever wants to come on, let him come on. We got to do. I'd love to come down one time. Yeah, have the show down there.
Absolutely, man. You know that.
Yeah, whatever. Just have some fun, and it would be a good time, man. So I know you've had a couple events, but you haven't quite done the grand opening. I saw you release some information that's on the horizon here. I'm sure you're trying to do it in between these large events, because obviously there's 90% of our wrestlers are probably going to be out of state this weekend.
Yep. We have a lot of wrestlers out of state. A lot of really good wrestlers are going to be out of state. And, we want to attract all wrestlers, but obviously you want the best wrestling you could possibly get at whatever facility you're wrestling at. That's what draws it in.
Yeah, especially for a grand opening, you want to have something, and you want to have people around that come to it. So I'm sure you're trying to sneak in between. You got the grappler, you had 32 last weekend, you got the actual 32 coming up in 2 weeks,
yep.
weeks, right? So have you guys set up a date yet? Have you guys?
So we're
happy for you, Coach Tony. Can't wait to wrestle myself. Tiffany Hayworth.
Hey, Tiff. She's an awesome mom. You've actually had both her sons on. You've had Nick, the taller kid, kept on fixing his hair because he thinks he's pretty, and Travis.
Oh, nice.
So they've been a big part of what we've been doing at Center Rock from the day one. So her son's actually a really good defensive end on the football team as well. So we haven't set a solid grand opening date. We wanted to do it in October. We're still going to run some events, but our officially grand opening, I think we're going to try to aim for November 7th. We got Nick Marcus. I'm working on a date with him. Looks like that might be the date. He's going to come down, and I've been to a couple of his clinics and rumbles before when he's done them at Top Gun and some other places. He does an amazing job. In fact, Tiffany's son, actually, I haven't told Nick this yet. His dad knows. Tiffany's son secured his spot for the state tournament this year as a senior in overtime against the kid from Lemon Bay with a move that he learned from Nick Marcus at one of his clinics. So it's pretty cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Nick's a good dude. I met him. Hold on. Oh,
God bless you.
Permiso. Yeah, I met him. I had him on the show once where he broke down all the middle schoolers. I have reached out to him again and told him he's always welcome to come back on and talk wrestling. Obviously, he and his family have a show. I'm sure he's been on there, but yeah, I heard he does really good things with his clinics, his camps, and I'm sure you're looking forward to having him come in.
And he's a super energetic guy. I mean, he's good. His energy level is just as good with like the little kids as he is. I imagine he is in his wrestling room with the college kids. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I see Facebook, like him playing with his daughter and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Being a family guy myself. So we're looking for sometime in October. You're going to have obviously people names there kind of to attract some guests and do some things. So how big is the club? How many can you fit per practice? Are there some COVID laws that you got to abide by?
Yep. So we're going by the standard COVID laws. We want you to wear your a mask as you come in. We're working on seating for parents. Excuse me. Working on seating for parents, so we'd like them to wear their masks to that. We're going to check your temperatures at the door. We have hand sanitizer throughout for so you to take care of that. Make sure you guys clean your hands. The facility is about 2,850 square feet. It's actually kind of a big U shape, so you'll like that as a Miami fan because it's all about the U. And but we've got mats all the way around the bend around the U shape. So I mean, so far the most we've had in there is about 24 kids at one point, and everybody's pretty comfortable. So we figure we probably can host at least 50 kids at one time on the mat. So it's a good space. It fit right in our budget, and we're very blessed to have found it.
I've had a couple of girls reach out to me. I think I reached out to you where they were.
Yes, sir.
It's really tough right now because our high school doesn't have a separate club. It's in the high school, so we haven't been able to wrestle. We haven't been able to get some time on the mat. Are you going to try to do something there where you'll have a coach in the room, or you'll have some focus where you can get a good amount of girls in there that are going to be able to have partners and wrestle with each other and get better?
Yep.
So, because you're right there in the middle of the state, so you've got some, in between Tampa and Orlando, so people can travel not too far, 45 minutes, and get to you.
Yeah, so absolutely. So we're actually talking about doing something on Friday nights because we have open mat on Wednesday and Friday, and do something on Friday nights, maybe called a ladies' night. And we're really looking to have a practice that's focused on it. I'd also love to maybe have a rumble or a clinic that is that's girl focused, that not only focuses on folk style but also freestyle. I know I've had some parents reach out to me that I've talked to that didn't really know that at the Super 32 qualifier or Super 32 or even this weekend at the Grappler, it's all about freestyle. And so it was confusing because they didn't have any idea. And some of the coaches might not fully understand if they're not dealing with girls wrestling. But we want to have a thing where we have special guest clinicians because that's kind of our thing. We're going to be open every day of the week. I mean, every day of the week. We're not going to do Monday or Wednesday and Friday. We're going to be open day of the week. We got something every day. So, we got everything from Sundays where we're going to have Chubby Sundays with Tony. That is going to be a heavyweight, bigger kids centered practice where from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock we get in there. We work on those techniques. We get some live wrestling. And then afterwards I make pancakes and we sit around and we eat pancakes and syrup and talk about wrestling and life and whatnot. So,
nice.
So we think that's a pretty cool idea. I used to do that when I was at McKeel back in the day. We had all the heavyweights in the county would come in and we'd wrestle and we'd go out for IHOP afterwards and we'd eat pancakes. So you could eat the most pancakes.
Do they even make heavyweights weigh in?
They probably shouldn't. I think it's just a waste of time. There's a couple that maybe you might want to push it, but.
So they just have to weigh them in to make sure they're not over the legal limit, right?
I think we should just go unlimited again. Back in the day, just
500
pounds.
I remember talking to my Uncle Mike. He wrestled at Curly for Jim Husk, and then when he was like the first ever coach, and then he wrestled at Day Community College when it was a Day Community College. Now they call him something else, but he said that, man, he goes, I'd be 95 pounds or 210, and I'm wrestling a guy, he's like 350. There was like no.
Yeah, because it used to be, there was one point, especially nationally, it was 189 and then no 215 or 220 pounders. So I remember going out of state maybe my sophomore year and I was wrestling a tournament and nobody had told me that you had to be 188 or 189 because that was what a lot of teams in county states in the nation had, and they're like, all right, heavyweight. I'm like, I weigh 192. They're like, yeah, that's heavyweight, go. I'm like,
Oh.
so I mean, it was a fun day, very tiring day, but very fun as I recall. I think I don't know if I got a concussion that day or not, but
No,
but I mean that's something fun that we wanted to bring back to utilize the space, and the thing is, like, heavyweight is just like 106 pounder. Heavyweight is a specialized style. I mean, it's something that I've been fortunate enough that I've been fairly good at coaching heavyweights. I've had a lot of kids that have been qualifiers or placers as heavyweights, either through my club or through my high school teams. I mean, like, one of the coaches that are going to be there with me is my assistant coach, Nick Thomas. He was a state placer. He was part of my McKeel Wrestling Club for all 4 years, and took third at state. And he's come back once since I got back at Tender Rock, and he's helping out with the club too. So it's good to have him in the room.
I just heard a loud bang.
That's my shirt, the bang.
Bang, yeah. Huh. Wonder if anybody's robbing me. Well, come upstairs and talk to me a little bit about it.
Okay, that'll be good. Well, I'll talk him down. I mean, I'll tell him how bad you are at fantasy football. And
yes, terrible. I got these running backs, and they all decided to get injured. And then I read some stuff, and I'm like, okay, this guy's supposed to be good. This guy's supposed to be good. So then I pulled them in, and then they all get hurt. I'm like, shit, I'm not doing very well.
That's
here.
how it goes.
But,
well, I don't know if you noticed, I changed my league name. If anybody doesn't know, we play in a fantasy league together, the Mulberry JV League, and his son's part of it too. But I change my name every week to whoever I'm playing, just to kind of mock them. So it's kind of fun.
I like it. Hey, so is it going to be a wrestling club that's only open after school hours? Are you going to have all day? Is it going to be nights and weekends? What kind of hours are you planning on?
So right now what we have is we're trying to get an adult club together. So we're going to run on Monday mornings and Monday afternoon to work with anybody's schedule. That's a great idea that Justin had. And we've actually had a lot of interest so far. Blake Olson posted on our post saying he's going to come out and start throwing out people, the head coach from Strawberry Crest. So that should be fun on starting this Monday. We have 2 nights that we focus on our kids program. That'll be Tuesdays and Thursday nights. It'll be from 5:30 to 7:30. We'll be in there at 3:00 for anybody who wants to get any individual work or we got some weights in there. We'll have pull-up bars. So people that need to get that workout in. Wednesday and Friday, like I said, it's gonna be an open mat, but we want to specialize on Friday nights as a ladies' night. I actually have a couple of the kids from the local Little League football facilities that they practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they're going to come in on our open night. And the funny thing with our Wednesday night is we have a former state placer and wrestled in college at Midland, Zach Wendell, who's been on I think 2 of my Disney national teams, just great kid. He came back. He's wanting to help us. So we're doing Wednesday nights with Wendell. So it's really fun.
Jason, yeah, I came close, buddy, but he's like, you had me scared last week. I'm like, yeah, what was the dude? He had somebody on the Monday night team that just went off.
Was it Tyreek Hill, I think, maybe?
I think so. He had someone that just killed me. Brady finally had a good week. I picked up this kid like Robinson the third or something that went nuts, and then he ended up getting hurt in the third quarter or something. And he already had 28 points or something for me.
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah. So are you going to so we're looking at grand opening sometime in October. We're looking at Nick Marcus to come in and do his typical club clinic type deal that he does.
Yep, on November 7th, which I think we're going to actually make to November 7th is going to be our official grand opening. We're taking kids in now, starting next Monday is when we're going to start our official schedule. So the ladies that you told reached out to you, they're more welcome to come in on Wednesday and Friday night and get some work in. We got some other girls that have shown interest as well, because we want to be inclusive to everybody. That's the great thing about the sport of wrestling, right? It's inclusive to everybody. So whether you're 4 or 99 or you have a handicap or whatever the case is, we're going to work with you, and we're going to work with you the same as we work with anybody else, because that's the great thing about what we do. It's, we embrace everybody as regardless of your creed or religion or sexual orientation or whatever it is. Wrestling makes us the same out of all of us. So
yeah, that's awesome. And I'd imagine you're going to do a lot of things like we see from around the state. I'm sure you'll have your rumbles. I'm sure you'll have your your live goes, your clinics. You'll have clinicians coming in and you'll announce them.
Yep. So for like this weekend on Friday night, we have coming in. Special guest is going to be Jeremy Carter, the head coach at Plant High School. He's got a couple state champions underneath his belt. He's going to come in with his team. He's going to come in and run an hour and a half clinic on Friday night for us. And then on Saturday, we actually have our first takedown tournament. AAU card needed, $15. We will check check COVID at the door like we're supposed to. And then it's big enough where we've set up about 10 different 12-foot stations. I'm sorry, 8 12-foot stations around on the mats for us to be able to get some matches in. So we'll pair everybody up by weight and do round robin and get as many matches as possible. So the cool thing about that is that the winner of each classification is going to get their own personalized Hammermill Takedown Championship shirt. So that we made on premise. So it's pretty cool. So
nice. Did you buy yourself one of them little things?
Actually, Nick Thomas's wife is a graphic designer, and she has a little sublimation machine and the t-shirt press thing. So she makes all that stuff. She's really good at all that. So I mean, she'll be on site making them as whatever you want. So if you come in and you're a mom of a girl and you want to have a shirt that says "Girls Wrestle Too," then she'll make that for you on site. So
or I'm a mom of a wrestler.
If that's what you want. Whatever you want, Daniel. If you want to be the mom of a wrestler, we'll get you that shirt.
I like it.
So our next really big thing that we're super excited about is on the 17th. We've got Jabari Irons. He was a national champion at NCAA or NWCA at Florida Gulf Coast. He was I think he was a state runner-up. So he'll be coming in on the 17th and running a rumble for us. So we're excited about his energy and his strengths and the things that he's going to show. So
October 17th.
October 17th, yes, sir.
Yeah, Jabari Iron. That's Montez.
Montez.
I had him on. I had him on the show. He was awesome.
Just another guy, just another young coach and influencer in our sport in this state that just have so much energy that it's infectious.
Yeah, I love talking to him, and I can't believe that how smart he is and how intelligent he is, and to start his own little club down there in Florida Gulf Coast when he's still in college, like he's literally still going to class, and he was still doing his thing. So good kid, man. I had a good time. I had a good time talking to him. Man, so what else? So we got the Hammermill. We're gonna have awesome Hammermill t-shirts.
Yeah.
Jabari Irons coming up. We've got Nick Marcus coming in for grand opening. We've got clinics gonna happen. We've got ladies' nights. We've got boys' nights. We've got open mats. I'm sure that the club's not free. I'm sure you're gonna have fees and dues.
Yep.
You may have some open mat nights, whatever, that are like the $15 door charge, or whatever. But I'm sure you're going to have where you're going to have club fees like, hey, we're open for the spring. It's going to be X amount of dollars. We're going to do this. Here's the events we're going to take our teams to, and all that stuff, like most clubs, right? And then
absolutely. And
then you're going to have, I'm sure you're going to have where you offer like one-on-ones or what are they called? Privates and things like that, right?
Yep. So right now our drop-in fee is $5 for any of our clinics or any of our nights throughout the week. So if you want to drop in and check us out, it's just $5. Make sure you have your AAU card. That's what's going to cover you insurance-wise. You can find that at aauwrestling.net for $14, $16, somewhere on that. Our club fees, just for one person, is $50. If you have multiple kids, we do give multiple kid discounts, just depending on how many kids you bring in. But it's $50 a month. That includes everything that we do. So for $50 a month, you're eligible for every single night of the week that we do something, which is going to be every single night of the week. So if you want to come to a Rumble on a Saturday, it's part of that $50. If you want to do a clinic on Friday night or the Wednesdays with Wendell, that's part of it as well. So we're not going to nickel and dime you. I think $50 is fairly low compared to others. And I mean, we're just excited. We're just excited to have the space and have people coming in. We've just had such a positive reaction from the wrestling community so far, just telling us how great of an idea they thought it was. So, and we're ready to go and get it ripping and rolling.
Now, will you also be, obviously during the high school season, God willing, we have one this year.
I think we will.
During the high school season, obviously it's high school wrestling, but during the fall, the spring, the summer, will you be putting together teams for like Disney duels and grapplers and
absolutely
and different events in the Georgia area and taking kids around to get some mat time?
Yes, sir. So we plan on being a national traveling program. Our ultimate goal is to be a national championship club program. So we want to build to the fact that we're going to Disney duels. We're going to go to the grapplers and to the Super 32 qualifiers, both in multiple states. Like I took a couple of my kids up to the Georgia State qualifier. And then 32 qualifier a couple of weeks ago. So
that venue looked really cool.
It was fun, man. It was wide open. It was an open venue. It was really crisp up there. It was about 65 degrees. I had a parent borrow my keys to go sit in the truck because she was too cold. But the elevation's up there a little bit. I think it's about an hour south of Atlanta. It's just really fun place to have it, man. And that compound wrestling up there, I think it was Compound South we weighed in, and that's the dream right there. 15,000 square feet, just beautiful.
Everybody followed the restrictions. Everybody did their thing the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody. I mean, there wasn't anybody that was getting out of line with what they were supposed to be doing. Now, Georgia's was a little bit more open up than we were up until recently, but man, everybody still respected everybody else's wishes. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I take with right? Yeah, it was outside. Yep.
John Hosegood. You know what? I could just eat popcorn and follow his tweet, his Facebook things, because man, he gets fiery. But he said the real question is whether he's going to wash that homeless guy looking beard.
This is my COVID beard. See, I get mixed reactions. Some people love it and some people hate it. So, I mean, it's getting to the point where it's about to go. I don't want parents to come in and think I live at the facility. I mean, oh, do you live here? Okay.
Yeah.
But, listen, John Hosegood.
Facility.
Yes. John Hosegood. I'm telling you, I told him he needs to run with Crenshaw in 2024. Crenshaw Hosegood 2024. President.
He's ready to fight somebody all the time.
Well, that might be the thing. It's like he used to be an MMA referee. So, and he used to fight MMA, and back when it was like legitimate MMA, like real school deal, like real deal stuff, and now he's a wrestling referee. So it's funny to watch some of the younger coaches that don't know him on a personal level go up and try to ask, "Was that 2 takedown?" Yeah, it was. Okay. All right. He
said, I'm all in favor of anything that covers your face. Laugh out loud. Yeah, except when a lady comes running across the mall at you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't grow a glorious mustache like he can, so I have to go with the beard.
Did you read that story when the lady came running across the mall at him to tell him to put a mask on?
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine what he really said and not what he said. Man. He said.
It was funny, his response.
I like John. John is one of those guys, like, he's not going to mince words to you. He's going to tell you exactly like it was, and if you don't like it, he don't care. Yeah,
I think that's true. Fair point, he said. But yeah, I think like my wife has been very, 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 very strict. We weren't allowed out of the house until a month ago. The kids were virtual school until they're schooling now. Little by little, she's starting to not understand. I mean, she's in the medical world, so she's smart, right? But she gets it. Like, look, if you're being social distance, then you're good. If you're outside, fresh air. I mean, unless I'm 3 feet from you, like talking to you, you're good, right? But when you're in an enclosed area and you're close to somebody right now, that's what's expected, and she expects it from me too. So I do it. But yeah, I mean, what he said, he was walking to the mall, nobody was around him, he's on his own, and some lady, that's a little excessive, right?
Yeah, I mean, that woman had some giant cojones, because, I mean, I don't know if I'm running up on John to yell at him about anything, let alone hey, you don't have a mask on. So that Karen really had some guts. I'll tell you that.
He should have turned around. He should have turned around and went like this. Two.
Should have hit her for a flagrant misconduct. That's what he should have done. There you go. Look at you. Next time you got to do that and rub your belly.
I'm getting there. I'm learning.
So go back to what you're talking about, actually, the COVID thing. I mean, we've kind of lived, my wife, we just kind of gone with the flow of everything. But the one thing that we've talked about is that we're just going to respect people's wishes. Do I like wearing a mask? Heck no, I don't like wearing a mask. But at the same time, it's like, if it makes other people feel comfortable for me to wear a mask for a couple months and where they can be out in the real world, then so be it. I'll wear a mask. I mean, it is what it is.
I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning going, yes, the whole new world, right? But John says, I advise licking doorknobs to build your immune system.
Yeah, him and Danny Walker must be sitting down and telling the CDC what to do.
Yeah. The best is the best is the people that are like running around. They're saying, okay, I'm going to wear a mask, but the mask is like right to like their upper lip. And it's like, and they're like, yeah, I'm covered.
It's really funny. I mean, it's hard because I wear like the neck gaither when I work because I'm just not wearing a mask around my ears. It's not going to happen. But it's like if I don't have it on right up above my ears, it just slips down. It just slowly works itself down.
No, I had my wife take, because the gaiters, they don't do shit for you. Let's be real, right? But it makes people think you're covered up, but that's fine.
I think it does as much as anything else really does for you.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that really is supposed to be the surgical mask or the K95, right? But the other stuff, so what I had my wife do, she has those surgical masks, which are the best ones because they open up wide and they cover you. But I had her take hot glue and hot glue the top of it inside a gaiter. So now I'm like, so now I can wear a gaiter, right, hun? Because safe, good, got So now I pull the gaiter up and I got the right mask on. It's just easier. It's easier because I don't have to take it off and wonder what I do. I got enough.
The thing is, whatever makes you feel comfortable, it makes other people feel comfortable.
I got a phone in my hand. I'm trying to watch the kids. I got a book bag. I'm like, now I'm holding this in one hand. I'm like, what do I do?
Your kids are teenagers. They can watch themselves by now.
Yeah. I scrub them. No. But I watch, I dusted off the old Nikon last night or a couple nights ago, and I charged the batteries and pulled out the old thing, whatever that lens is called. And because I was out at the 32 and I took some great pictures. You saw them, right?
I saw them. I was wondering who took those pictures.
I took those with my telephone. And a lot of them came out pretty good. Like I caught some real cool shirts that nobody knew I was behind them taking those cool shirts. And I got some cool pictures, but I was like, shit, you know what I could have done with our old camera? Like in and really get some cool stuff. They work, but they're kind of like condoms. A cloth one probably isn't as effective.
Who said that one?
That was good.
Oh. See, I want to be nice because it's a family show, so we're not going to talk about condoms there, John.
No. How about the text that I sent you the other day that my kid sent me?
Oh, my God, that was ridiculous. Well, the thing is, like, I'm playing your son this week in fantasy, so I was trying to think of something not, like, disgusting to like make my name face your kid. So, and I was talking to my wife about it because she plays the league too, and she goes, I was asking her about it, and she goes, oh, you probably shouldn't be that vulgar. He is like 14 or 15. I'm like, okay. And then you sent me that, and I had her read it. She goes, well, just post whatever you want. So I think. So
now your name's gonna be Breaking Rubbers.
No, it wasn't that. I think I went with you're too old for Biden to sniff, but I think it was my team name this week. But
oh, that's funny. Yeah,
I'm sure I'll get hate mail on that one.
Yeah, what do rubbers and bungee cords have in common?
What is it? What do condoms? Oh no, what does prostitutes and bungee jumping cords have in common?
If they break, you're dead or something.
Yeah, if they break, you're dead. It's like, well, at least we know where he got that from, right?
But imagine if your sex ed doctor came out, I mean, your teacher came out in high school and was like, okay, guys, first I want to explain something to you. What happens if, what do rubbers and bungee cords have in common? If they break, you're dead. Do you understand that you need to protect yourself, kids?
I guess it sticks in the mind. I feel like he found that joke on like dadjokes.com or something.
Yeah.
That sounds like something you and I would come up with to tell our kids. So,
Yeah. Until we're 70.
I know, like the dad jokes are strong in some of us.
Well, it's that whole TikTok, because you can watch TikTok and they have guys that come on and do all these.
Yeah.
Jokes. So I hear them all the time.
I feel like kids no longer on TikTok because they were supposed to be for them, and they're like, oh, now all the old dudes on there just looking at stupid crap.
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly.
So, but it's I enjoy it. I mean, whenever I have a lunch break or whatever, I'll go mindless looking into it. So,
Oh, man. Well, it's cool, man. Well, congratulations to you and Weaver, right?
yes, sir.
Man, got a place going. I think it's great. I think all these clubs that are getting open is, in my opinion, I think it's just good for the sport, good for wrestling. More places to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some towns, kids are like, well, where am I going to go wrestle at? I don't want to go do that sport. And now there's places in different towns to do it.
Well, and that's the big reason. Like we have a county where and this is not putting it down, we probably have 5 programs that try to go year round, right? But we have a lot of good athletes in our county that are good wrestlers. So they've got to get better too, right? The idea is not about growing our individual teams always. It's about growing our area and about growing the sport in general. So we just want to have a place where they can come and get a workout and get better, or coaches want to come in and learn things. Cause like I learn things all the time. I mean, that's why I love going to other coaches' rooms, because I learn things that either a new way of doing something or something that reinforces something that I already knew or that I learned a long time ago. So, I mean, that's the reason why I open this. We want our kids to get better, absolutely, but we just want to get the sport of wrestling out there, the message of the sport of wrestling, how it can change people's lives, because I know it's changed mine for the positive. I honestly, Daniel, I don't know where I'd be without it. I mean, without the sport of wrestling, I was going down a very slippery slope when I was a freshman in high school and got into some things I probably shouldn't have got into. I was very fortunate I didn't get any serious trouble about it. But then I met a guy by the name of Chris McQuaig and his brother Michael, and they told me I needed to wrestle. And
the rest is history.
And the rest is history. I've never seen snow because of the sport of wrestling. So every winter's taken up. It makes my wife really happy. But it's something I love, giving back. I truly believe God put me on earth to minister through the sport of wrestling and to teach young men and women to believe in themselves and to use the lessons we learn to propel them in life. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate to have the job I have and the support system I have, to have Justin and my other coaches that back me and the things that we want to do, and they have the same message and the same mind that I do. So it's very nice, and we know that we'll make Polk County Wrestling Club a success.
Yeah, even Hosegood just said amen. Saw lots of Polk County kids in Kissimmee, more than I've seen any other year probably. So
yep.
Good to see. Hey, have you looked at the how deep the grappler is this year?
The grappler is nice, man. That's deep. Like a lot of Florida kids got some pretty decent seeds. I mean, so I mean, I'm excited for that, for those kids that are going there. So we have some decent kids that'll be there. I mean, honestly, I think the Jimenez kid, I think the one that everybody will be surprised, I think he's got a number 8 seed at heavyweight, is the Jimenez kid from, I think it's Somerset. I think he might go and make a run towards the finals.
Yeah, he did well at 32. He won 32 last weekend. I saw him. And it's funny, when I first saw his coach, Blasucci, he was talking to him, and kid walked away. He's like, he's got a good shot here. And and he took it. But there's some Florida kids that aren't in the rankings in those 15 seeds that they did for the elite. And I think they're going to be surprised. I mean, one of them that just blows my mind is Sparkman. I don't know why he's not up in one of those top 15 spots.
I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I'm excited. I think it sets up the way. I mean, I'm excited about an Abden Willis final. Lucas Willis and Brendan Abden final. That
could be the final, but they are in a bracket with my man RJ Weston as well. No, where's he at? No, yeah, I think it's 56 they're at, right? 56 or 60?
52.
52. Yeah, they got a tough bracket, man. They're all tough. They're all tough because none of them are cupcakes this year.
Well, they don't call it elite because it's easy.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some. I mean, those top, man, the top shit. To have a guy like Lucas Willis, number 7,
Yeah,
tells you how deep 152 is. Because here's a kid that could become what, the fifth or sixth 5-timer ever in our state.
Yeah,
and he's a beast. But you've got Estevez right above him. You've got Swiderski from Michigan. You've got Abden in there. Camden Monroe is an absolute monster. Vafiadis, I always screw that up. He's a monster. RJ Weston, he's a monster. I mean, I can't wait. One thing that I'm really happy about is my kid is wrestling varsity. And that means that, so this year, varsity doesn't wrestle until Sunday. So I'm going to get to watch all these elite dudes up into because they're going to go all the way to the quarterfinals with elite on Saturday, and they're going to finish up Sunday. So usually the grappler, as you know, is one day, and they broke it up in 2 because of everything going on. And then good thing they did, because I think the whole world signed up.
Yeah, people we're thirsty right now as a community. I mean, you look at both the Georgia one was capped at 5. Georgia qualifier was 32 qualifier was capped at 500. Florida was capped at 500. They both sold out with very, very little issues. I mean, hell, we paused on this. The reason why we didn't go to Florida is because we paused because we're at Georgia, and we paused for 5 seconds, and the sucker was already sold out. So, but I mean, that's just amazing for our sport.
There's no way there was only 500 kids at 32 this weekend. It seemed like
I thought that was the cap, and I might be wrong, but I thought that was the cap.
I mean, it could have been, but it looked like that place was jamming, man.
Well, people are wanting wrestling so badly that people are probably going to watch their teammates just so they can and see. I mean, so it was pretty exciting. It was pretty exciting.
I saw Jacobs Hines in there watching his boys. I saw Ty Lukens in there coaching the corner of some of his teammates. You kind of saw that all around, and I'd like to know if I'm gonna have to hit up Mark Prince on this. I'd like to know if his young dude is going. What's his last name? The kid.
Barberia?
Yeah, I want to know if Barberia is going up there, because
I think it's Brian Barberia.
There's another sleeper that I think he can do some damage up there. We're
talking about a kid that's just good coaching with good stock and good experience, man. His brother was a 2-timer wrestling at Navy. I mean, just with Mark Prince and some of the other coaches they have up there. I remember I was talking with Jay Dugmore last year when he was helping out with Prince, and he said this kid's going to be something special, maybe even more so than his brother. And like, he just you just see it. I mean, you can see that last year when at the tournament we're at, he was just running through people like they were nothing.
Yeah, and he didn't even qualify last year, and then then he walks into the D1 duel and he knocks off. Is it Reese?
I thought it was. Who was it? Oh no, I wasn't there, but somebody told me he knocked off for somebody big. I want to say it was the kid from Charlotte.
Yes. I forget his last name, but he got him.
Austin.
Yeah, and then I watched him blow through the 32 qualifier.
Yeah, man, just a stud, man. It's one of those things like not qualifying last year that fuel him that much more to get that much better in a time where it's hard to get better, and you just take those extra things where D1 wrestling, gives him that spot, obviously with a great coach, a future Hall of Famer in Prince, to just become an absolute stud.
Yeah, the Gulf Coast is bringing a bunch of kids up from all those clubs there. You've got Lake Gibson bringing kids up. Azo's probably got, I think I've heard from JJ Johnson, who's up there with the grappler, that he's got the biggest group of kids going out of anybody in the country. So if you're telling me there's not a couple kids in there that we don't know about that's going to shake it up, I'd argue with you, because his kids are usually coached well too, right? So there's going to be
there's a reason they are what they are.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Yeah, and that's what I said. I mean, I love watching Daniel wrestle, right? But I was kind of like, oh, cool, Varsity Sunday. That means I can I can get to see some really good, because I'm interested in, like you are, like looking at those rankings, like I want to see other, like RJ Weston and Camden Monroe go at it, or Ty Lukens has a heck of a run. You've got Nini and the champ from last year, McClellan, who are teammates who are in the same weight class.
Yeah.
With Malbuizo, and there's some other kids in there. I mean, it's awesome. And you look at the lighter weight classes with the kid Hituis, who I had on, is unbelievable. He won it last year. I want to see him wrestle. Like, and then you've got the young Rivera in there.
Eli.
I think, yeah, he's in there. He won states last year, and he's in there. So man, I can't wait to go watch some wrestling now that I've met a lot of these people and I've actually researched them and looked at them and watched them, and I'm excited to see them go at it.
No, I mean, it should be a great event, and they've always had great events up there when it was in Michigan, and the fact they brought it to South Carolina should make it even more fun that you don't have a 20-hour drive to get there. So
yeah. Now, are you sure that for your wife's birthday she doesn't want to come experience the great coast of Myrtle Beach?
She told me she's been to Myrtle Beach, and it's like I drive with a beach, so she's good.
Oh, well, then it's a great place to go.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So
well,
she's okay with she doesn't like Florida kitsch, let alone South Carolina kitsch.
Oh.
So you do need to try when you're up there. They should be everywhere. It's Palmetto Brewing. They got some awesome beers. They have a red beer. I think it's called like Lucy or I Love Lucy or something like that. Or it's a really red beer, and it's just very good.
Now, Palmetto Brewing, is that the one that I think it's brewed in Charleston?
It is in Charleston. I've been to their brewery. It's really nice, and they're in a
brewery. It's
250-year-old building.
Yes, I've been in that brewery. Yeah, when you said Palmetto, I remember. Yeah, he walks you up, and then he has the big refrigerator case right there that you walk in, and yeah, nice guy.
Their food was okay, but their beer was great.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to sit on here and talk to you for another hour, but we have a young lady coming on from down south at Mater Lakes, and I can't wait to speak to her. She came.
Is she the one that was a state qualifier last year for the boys?
I don't know. Her name is Ladro. Sorry if I'm screwing up your name, but it is a hard one to say. She just got third at the early qualifier.
Okay.
Lorelei Wydra.
No, I don't think it's her. And I'm sure Lorelei is an amazing wrestler, but there's a female that was a regional champion at I think 2A3 or 2A4 last year, and had some pretty competitive matches in the state tournament.
I had her on, and I think she's at HML, and she anyway, I had her on, and she said, man, going into the boys tournament, it was a lot to handle, she said if she goes, hopefully they'll have it this year. If she makes it back there, she'll understand it a lot more, the atmosphere and everything. But because she was kind of disappointed. She said she thought she could have beat some of the kids she wrestled against in that.
I remember watching her elimination match, and if I'm not wrong, I mean she was right there. Might even been an overtime match, or it was really close. She's a slick, tough wrestler. Like she doesn't back down from anything. So
no, I think it was Jasmine Godinez.
Okay.
I think she wrestles for HML.
Okay.
She just won it this week, and it was fun. I've never seen freestyle wrestling live.
It's fun, man. Whenever I was in high school, way back 200 years ago, where John Hosgood was my teacher. Just kidding. But we only did freestyle and Greco during the summer. There was no folk style. So everything we did was freestyle and Greco. So you learned how to get takedowns, you learned how to throw, you learned all those type of things, or you learned that wrestling wasn't your sport and you get tossed on your head. So,
I mean, I've watched on TV because obviously all that world.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I kind of got stuck in the corner there for a long time watching the girls' mat because it was impressive to me watching the throws and watching the spins and watching how gritty they were. And and the battles. It was, hats off to the ladies this past weekend. But yeah, I kind of got stuck in the corner there watching it. It was some good matches.
Honestly, I think women's wrestling is obviously it's been growing, but I think people that actually give it a chance to watch it, it's super exciting.